Hello Academy, and welcome to a little presentation on how to map with ArcPro and GIS Online. My name is David Holt, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So how we log on to our institutional website. You should have a username and password that's every one of the computers, so you can get on and you can go to which group you're in, so whichever club, and you can even share your maps. So I'm going to show you how you can pull in base maps of any type. You can add point lines and polygon and text and change it whatever color, any symbol. And you guys can start making maps of whatever area you're looking at. So that's kind of useful, and I hope you like it. And so this is going to be both for the students and the instructor, just to get familiar with how to make a really quick, what's called a sketch, a map sketch online. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to that website there. So that's the Environmental Justice STEM Leadership Academy, ejsla.maps.arcgis.com. So this is an institutional license, meaning that, I give you the ability to use this software. This software is pretty powerful. So it's the same software that the military uses, the police use it, fire department uses it, businesses use it, cities use it, all sorts of stuff. Academics, so I use this in my labs, and when we do any type of geographic research, GIS is really useful. So this is the landing page that you're going to get to when you get to the website. And so what I want you to do when you first get there, and let me get my little pointer on so you can follow along, is sign in right here. You just use your username and password, and it'll let you know with this little symbol up here that you're signed in. If you sign in, then you can actually start making maps and doing all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, so you're going to sign in, and then the first thing you're going to do is you have home and you have gallery, which so anybody makes maps, we can see them there. You can go to map, and then you can go to a group, or we can even go to a scene, which is another thing that I'll show you how to do later. So we're clicking on maps, and that map is going to open up generically, just kind of this map of the United States. It's in a Web Mercator projection. You can mouse over it and use the wheel on your mouse to scroll in or scroll out. You can right click and left click and move things around. You also can manually click the plus and the minus to move it around. But we can zoom into the area that we're going to map. So we're here in southern Mississippi. So right there where my little laser pointer sitting there is the coast of Mississippi. So this is Mississippi here. And we're located right down there at the coast. So if you just scroll in there all the way down to wherever your club's located, whichever city that is, you'll be able to move on to the next little fun thing. So we zoom in wherever we want. I'm just kind of generically looking at the whole coast. So this is Mississippi. There's Gulfport right there. And we've got Long Beach, Pass Christian, Biloxi, Ocean Springs, all that sort of stuff is on here. And you can see this pre-labeled map made by Esri. It's just a base map that's up there. But when you get on there, you'll have a couple options. First thing it's going to do is ask you to want to add any layers. We'll do that in a second, but you can we're going to use some of these over there. So just a couple of these that we're going to use, and I'll show you the easiest way to start mapping. So I like to start with the base map. So first one thing you want to do is figure out what scale you're going to make your map. So you're going to zoom in to whatever you're going to map. And then you can look at all the different base maps. We've got things with labels, without labels. So sometimes, maybe you want the aerial imagery, so full color, what you're looking at, but sometimes you want something simple because if you got a full color image, it covers everything up, right? So if it's already got labels on it, I can't put labels on there now. I'm relying upon the existing labels, but sometimes you want the existing labels. So that's, all depends on how you want your map to look. And I like to start with figuring out the base map. So sometimes I'll use a base map like imagery. And so base map is this one down here. So if you come down the list there, this is layers, then it's the fourth one down. Click on that and it'll bring up this particular choice here. I've chosen topographic map here, and it just will change it. So just kind of play around with that and see how it changes your base map. And you can see what you're actually starting to play around with. Now that I've got my base map, so what I did is I went in and zoomed in. This is the science building on Long Beach campus. My office is right there. So if you ever want to come by and say howdy, you can come by and say howdy. So here's an aerial image. So I've got the trees, and there's a parking lot, and these are the other buildings, and this is a playground, and all that sort of fun stuff there. Okay, so we're going to go back up and we're going to click on layers. And so layers, what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to where it says add. You do the little drop down thing here. And then you've got all these choices here. So we're going to create a sketch layer is what we're going to do. So just scroll down there and click on that. This will allow us to add points, lines, and polygons to our map. Now, just fair warning, Esri, especially online, it's a program. There's a lot of clicking to do to get to do things, but once you get used to it, it gets a lot easier. It's kind of like any software that you use, so don't get too worried about it. Just kind of watch this little video and I'll show you. This is click here, and we'll get it going. And I'll even record a live video of me doing it later on too. So now if I get my add symbols there, I get my sketch coming up right there. And I get to choose these guys up here. So there's a point, there's a line, there's a polygon. I can title it whatever I want. So if I was going to say, if I wanted to find parking spaces, or if I wanted my point to be offices, I could drop points there. And I've got a point right there wherever my office is. I can also come down here, I can choose categories, and there's all sorts of crazy categories down here. I'm going to choose my points to be trees just because it's something different, but I can make it a cat if I want, whatever I want. Or a frog, so you can make frogs and put those frogs right where they're supposed to go, wherever the toad boats are for that thing. But I can change the size, the shape, and all sort of stuff. So just look at all the options that you have over here, and you can see how they play around. You can add multiple point layers. So like if I wanted trees and I wanted frogs, I would have one point layer would be trees, and another point layer, just add another layer, and it would be I could do my frogs. So here I've dropped a couple trees. I just chose this tree right there, and I've got a point that I put in my office and one in the center of the building. I did it by just coming over to the map and clicking, and then I dropped myself a point. And so I can do this to map anything that I want. So just for fun, I went ahead and chose a different tree, and then I clicked on every tree that I could see. I missed a couple here, but for the most part, I can drop all these trees in there. I can change the title of it so I know that these are all this is my tree layer, and those are just point data that's using this particular symbol. I can make that symbol bigger or smaller or do whatever I want with it. So by changing the base map, so I just went back from layers and I came down to base map. I gave it a simple base map so that you can actually see, look, there are all the trees that I made, and that's starting to look kind of cool. That looks like a real map. And all I did was I just clicked everywhere that I thought there needed to be a tree. So I come back and I go down to the next one, and so I can click on lines. And so here I am, it's like, oh, here's a road. So I'm just going to click along the road, just click, 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 and I'll connect this road down here, and I can make turns by clicking a bunch. Or just simply, then I can figure out what color I want the line to be, how thick I want the line, and I can just adjust these things and adjust it right there on the map. So now I've put in a road. And just that simple, I've got trees and I got a road. So going back really quick, I added them in a couple other roads. And so this map actually is an older base map here, so it doesn't line up with where the roads are now. My imagery does, but not this stuff. And so, but if I just look at this, I can see I've got lines and I've got points, and I'm making a map. And this is real data that's like their latitude and longitude with a GPS, whole 9 yards, everything. And so I'm going to come back and I decide I'm going to put my building in there. So I came down to the third one, which is a polygon. So I got a point, a line, a polygon. I can choose boxes or circles or do a bunch of other things, but we're just going to look at these top guys right here and adding text. That's all we're going to do in this little exercise. So I clicked a polygon. I can name it whatever I want. I made it purple so we can see it. I can choose whatever color. And you can see that I've actually sort of got myself a map coming together, and it didn't take too much effort. And so there's my map, and so I'm going to come down now and I'm going to click text. And so I can add text, and I wrote my office, and I slid it over here and clicked where I wanted to say my office, and there I have it. I've got myself a map. So here it is. If I've got my map now, I'm happy with where everything is. I did it really fast, but I come down here, I can come down and look at to save as, and so then I can save it. And it's going to give me an option to save it. It's going to tell me to save the map. I'm going to give the map a title. I can look through all my folders, or I'm going to use, this is my username for the Academy, is Holt DH2. So choose whatever you logged in with, because then it's going to put the map that I made, my little play map, is going to be in my folder. And I just click save. And that map that I made, I can pull up and I can play around with it. I can add to it. I can take away from it, and I keep editing all that I want until I get that map as cool and as perfect as I want it. So once my map is created, I can then go back to my organization, so that first page you landed on, and I'm going to go to content. And so if I go to content, it'll show me all the folders that I have, and there's a play map that I made. There's another play, so I've done this twice here. So there's my map right there, and I can see that this symbol means that I can see it, but I can actually share this thing by checking the box on the map and then coming over here, and I can change how I'm going to share it. So I'm like, I like this map, I'm going to share it. I can share this to everybody online if I want. So if I like my map so much, I can share this. I can even get the URL for it. It will pull it straight up. This is saved online at Esri now through our organization. So the map you made exists, and people can even look at it. You can show your parents. So you can just have it so only you can see it, or we're going to choose organization, so then only people in our group can see it. I like my map. And so if I'm going to do that, I need to edit my group sharing. So I'm going to do organization instead of the whole organization. I'm going to make sure that I just get it to a particular group. And so I'm going to click on my group. I can see everybody, all the groups that are on there. You may not be able to see all of them. You may just be able to see like East Biloxi or IP. And then you're going to check that one. So I'm going to do this to East Biloxi as an example. So I'm going to check East Biloxi, and then I'm going to go ahead, OK. And when I click OK, what happens is now if I go to the groups and I look at clubs, if I were actually to go to East Biloxi, I can look down under content and look, there's my play map that I made is sitting in East Biloxi. So anybody in East Biloxi can pull up that particular map. Now I'm pulling this back down so that you only have your maps up there because it's just an example. But there I had it. I made a map. I'm able to use whatever base map that I want. I can put any text that I want on it. This is an online digital map. There's a bunch of other things you can do with it, but I'm just going to show you the basics here. I've now saved it. I've shared it with my group, and now anybody in my group can look at it. So if I'm on a different computer with a different login, I can pull that up from the group, and then I can play with it on my computer now. So there it is, just a really quick little lesson on how you can map some stuff. And put that stuff together. So I think I'm going to put together a live one where I'm clicking and you can watch me click and do it again. It's kind of a good way to watch me, and I can kind of talk you through that thing. And then I'll show you how to do it in the ArcGIS Pro software that you have on your computer, as opposed to at the organization where you can make sketch maps. Okay? Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be talking to you later.